Tensions in the Middle East have sharply escalated as a fragile ceasefire between the United States and Iran hangs by a thread overshadowed by deep mistrust and rising rhetoric on both the sides. Well, US President Donald Trump has announced an indefinite extension of the ceasefire, framing it as a diplomatic opportunity created at the request of Pakistani leadership, including Field Marshal Asim Munir and Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif. According to Donald Trump, the extension is meant to give Iran's leadership time to present a unified proposal for negotiations, while the US military maintains full readiness. However, the continuation of a naval blockade on Iranian ports, particularly around the Strait of Hormuz, has become a major point of contention. While Washington insists that the blockade is a strategic measure short of active conflict, Tehran views it as an act of war. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has openly stated that blockading ports is indistinguishable from military aggression and violates the spirit of any ceasefire. Iranian officials have responded with defiance and sharp criticism, as Mahdi Mohammad, a senior advisor to Parliament Speaker Mohammad Ghalibaf, dismissed Donald Trump's ceasefire extensions as meaningless, arguing that a losing side cannot dictate terms. He warned that the ongoing siege of Iran through economic and naval pressure is no different from bombardment and must be met with a military response. Mohammad also suggested that the extension could be a tactic by the United States to buy time for potential surprise strike, urging Iran to seize the initiative. Well, the rhetoric has been matched by warnings from Iran's military establishment. A statement broadcast on Iranian state television delivered by Ibrahim of the Khatam al-Anbiya Central Headquarters made it clear that Iran is prepared to respond with full force to any attack by the US or Israel. The statement emphasized that any aggression would trigger severe consequences, signaling that Tehran is not backing down despite the diplomatic pause. Meanwhile, Donald Trump has intensified his messaging, claiming that Iran is facing severe financial collapse. And in a series of social media posts, he asserted that Iran is losing hundreds of millions of dollars daily and that its military and police forces are struggling with unpaid wages. He also claimed that Tehran is desperate to reopen the Strait of Hormuz in order to restore cash flow, portraying the pressure campaign as effective leverage. And despite all these claims, the diplomatic path forward remains uncertain. A planned second round of US-Iran talks in Islamabad now appears to be in jeopardy. US Vice President J.D. Vance has reportedly postponed his visit to Pakistan, pending clarity on whether Iran will participate. And Pakistani mediators are making last-minute efforts in order to salvage negotiations. But Iran has yet to confirm its involvement, raising doubts about whether talks will proceed at all. Complicating the situation further is the broader regional instability. Reports indicate that Israel forces continue military actions in southern Lebanon despite a separate ceasefire, while Hezbollah has responded with retaliatory strikes. Well, all these developments add another layer of volatility to an already tense environment, increasing the risk that localized conflicts could spiral into a wider confrontation. And as it stands, the ceasefire exists more in name than in practice. And the United States maintains economic and military pressure through its blockade, while Iran signals readiness for escalation if provoked. And with diplomacy stalled, trust eroded, and military forces on high alert, the situation remains extremely fragile, with the next move from either side likely to determine whether the region steps back from the brink or moves closer to open conflict. That's all for now. Stay tuned to the Savera for more updates. Do like, comment, and subscribe to the channel.